Have you ever had a conversation with someone where you want to tell them about something that you may have heard or something that you read online and just pretty much tell them what you learned, and they end up responding with that's ridiculous or that's silly or that's not true? um, the reason that I'm mentioning this is because I'm going to be talking about the appeal to the stone fallacy, which is also known as argumentum ad lapidem. And this is pretty much for you to essentially look out for if someone might be doing this to you, or maybe you're doing this to someone else unknowingly. And after researching this topic, I can say that it is something common that people do, and most times they do it without knowing that they're doing it. And the appeal to the stone fallacy actually causes more harm than good. And so, some of the points that I'm going to be talking about are: first, what is appeal to the stone? Second would be why appeal to the stone is flawed. And third would be how you can avoid becoming a victim to the appeal to the stone fallacy. And so, to begin with, my first point, what is appeal to the stone? It is essentially when someone says something to someone else. So let's say person A is saying apples or fruits and vegetables are good for you, and then the other person, person B, refutes this by saying no, or they don't agree with it without an explanation. And it's pretty much them just saying no because I say so, and that is their explanation. And in the article that I read by Effectivology, they use an example between two people, which would be person B saying something along the lines of, who cares, this is silly. And then person A would respond with, can elaborate, or why do you think this? And then they end with saying, I don't know, it's just I don't believe it, it sounds dumb, or something along those lines. And that's pretty much what the appeal to the stone fallacy is, just them explaining something without an explanation. And them disagreeing and sticking to their opinion that that's wrong is their explanation. And oftentimes appeal to the stone fallacy is combined with another fallacy. And so in the same article that I read, it was combined with the ad hominem attack, which is I believe it translates to attack on the man, or to the man, and it's pretty much just tearing someone down, like attacking the person, not just the idea that they're presenting, which it makes sense, as the attack appeal to stone fallacy is them just saying no, I don't think so, and then combining it with something else is just kind of causing some sort of argument, and it can be a little difficult to deal with someone that uses this. And now that we do understand what appeal to the stone is, we can begin to understand the flaws that it holds. So that brings me to my second point, which would be why the appeal to the stone is flawed, and it's a flawed way of thinking. And so appeal to the stone is a flawed way of thinking because it leaves no room for conversation between these two people or a group of people. And in the second article that I read by Crisis Magazine, they state that it's a cry against reason. And I would like to say it's people who are kind of closed-minded, who don't want to understand someone else's reasoning or try to understand someone else's reasoning, and so that's why they kind of just disagree right off the bat. And so the article also mentions that it's a favorite form of argumentative format in social media. And I definitely see this because on social media a lot of people are always disagreeing, and there can be tons of evidence and facts that people, it's just being put out there, and people will still be like, no, you're wrong, because people's opinions are so strong. And that's the appeal to the stone. And with that being said, this brings me to my third and final point, and it's how we can avoid the appeal to the stone fallacy, which and my third article that I read, which is by Academy for SC, it states that your best option or best way to avoid this happening to you is by questioning the person's claim. And this is going to cause them, most times it might not work. Well, no, it can work, because they're gonna have to explain why they said no. And so with them having to explain this, it kind of breaks the appeal to the stone fallacy, because they actually have to explain why they think that, and it's not just, no, I said this because I think this. And in the same article, it does mention that people usually do this to appear more clever or smarter or superior. And so suggesting that someone's idea is ridiculous makes them feel small or discouraged. And by contradicting what the person is saying and just bringing them to explain to you why they think this, it just kind of cuts this short, and then you won't really be in that appeal to the stone phase, I guess. And so this brings me to my conclusion. And so to finalize my points, we can retaliate against someone's appeal to the stone by questioning them and not allowing them to make us feel small. And we now can understand what appeal to the stone is, why it's flawed, and how to avoid it. And we can also just see when someone might be using it against us, or we may be using it against somebody. And yeah, so thank you.